Welcome to another episode of Jabari Vok Media. And please like, share, subscribe, hit me up. I'm on all platforms. You can find Jabari Vok Media on Twitter, TikTok, everywhere. Link is in the description. Also, link is inside the details of the page here on YouTube as well too. We got a very, very important, packed conversations that we're going to have today. I want people to understand that in the face of U.S. imperialism, that we are seeing conflicts and continuous wars, which is hence why I put in the thumbnail. Um, do not support continuous wars. And why do I put that in the thumbnail? Because the rhetoric of what I've been seeing lately is, to me, not fully rhetoric of the U.S. wanting peace or the U.S. garnering peace. All I see is a complete rhetoric from the U.S. And I'm gonna get into it. From all these conflicts, from Haiti, from Ukraine, all over, I am seeing, and we're going to talk about Venezuela as well too. First, we're going to start with Venezuela. I am seeing so much of lies and rhetoric of a president here who wants a Nobel Peace Prize, and his only way of getting a Nobel Peace Prize is just lying about saying how he's stopping all these conflicts while also creating new conflicts. And what is a new conflict that could be happening right now if people don't know? We do not support, should not support a full on scale war with Venezuela. We should not be supporting a full on scale invasion with Venezuela. Venezuela has done nothing to provoke US aggression. Have you heard of Venezuelans attacking? No. The media has made this whole uproar a few years ago, maybe it was last year as well. I wouldn't say a few years ago, about Venezuelan gangs, and that was blown out of proportion. What did they do with those Venezuelan gangs, guys? They decided to try to be tough on crime. Crime is not rising in the United States. I put out a research on my page. I put out multiple sources. I made a statement, and I also cut and paste the Google AI as well too, showing that crime is not rising in this country. What is happening? And Peter Gosselin, really great guy, um, Peter Gosselin literally talked about how in the 70s people watched a lot of crime shows and all this stuff, and it made people believe this is what media can do. It made people believe that all this is happening every single day. Crime 24/7 on a high level in every single city, on a very high level. But crime is being used now as a scapegoat, as always been, to lock people up. The the plan didn't change. It just got rebranded. You know what I mean? Before then, it was the Black Panthers and the radical blacks. Now it's MS-13. And don't get me wrong. Yes, I would like to see people that commit crimes get their due process in the court of law. Yes. What I don't want to see is the National Guard or the Marines being deployed, on us to harass us, arrest us, beat us up. I showed you the video last week of this family that was sitting on the porch. Could be friends. They were sitting on the porch, and then all of a sudden, boom, cops come out of nowhere, harassing, asking for ID, and then try to explain why they're doing what they're doing. It's absolutely hilarious. Real quick, so for plugins, please donate to Pal Crisis Relief Fund. The video that, not the video, the sound that you were hearing was an interview that I sent over to someone in Gaza. If you heard that sound, that was a sound clip of Noor, who is a volunteer Palestinian medical. Um, I think nursing is what Noor is pursuing as a career. By the way, their schools are bombed, so she can't go to school. She had to. I think she's out of the country now. From what I saw in her post, I don't know. I haven't reconnected with her. But Power Relief Crisis is still active and is still going on in Gaza. And this page will always continue to keep talking about Power Relief Crisis. Please go there on Instagram and donate. Donate to Power Relief Crisis, please, everybody. Thank you so much for everything that you have done so far for the show and also raising awareness about what's going on. Palestine is finally getting the respect they have long overdue deserved. And that's because the world is finally waking up. And sadly, the world is waking up, but the powers that be, they want to continue on. They want to continue on with allowing Israel, and this is both sides. Both sides. This is a Democrat funded issue as much as it is a Republican funded issue. And do not let Democrat supporters fool you in thinking that they now care about Gaza. Because we saw during the during the Kamala Harris rallies, we saw how Arabs, especially Arabs, and especially Palestinians, were not given the platform. They were not allowed to speak. We saw it. We saw how they were removed from these rallies. And simultaneously, Harris was telling us we're going to do a ceasefire. Joe Biden was telling us we're going to do a ceasefire. And a ceasefire actually happens under Trump but gets violated, which, there's so much about this conflict that really, really pisses me off. And everyone should be pissed at this point, and not just me. We should be standing in solidarity with our Palestinian siblings of oppression. They are being oppressed. They are being removed from their land. It's going on since 1948, the Nakba, and then the second Nakba. This has always been happening. It did not start on October 7th. And any liberal that try to tell you that it started on October 7th, or any conservative or any Zionists try to tell you this all started on October 7th, look at them with the face. Give them that face. And then call them a genocide sympathizer. Like, seriously. Let me read my statement. And my statement is for Venezuela. So, for people that don't know, let's see. I was supposed to download the video, but unfortunately, this is the only video I haven't downloaded. So, if there's a little buffer, I totally apologize. All right, so we're gonna play a video real quick, and I gotta say I've seen some biasness in the news on this. Of course, the Western media wants you to believe that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Maduro is a drug lord. This is new to me. I have been covering Venezuela for a very long time, and people that watch this show know that I have had people from Venezuela and people that have visited Venezuela, people who have. I had Dakota Lily. I had Dakota Lily on my show. I had um I'm trying to think of name drops right now. I had freaking Alex Suarez as my co-host who visited Venezuela, who has spent time in Venezuela along with the Dakota Lily. I had Dan Kovalik on my show. I have had Carly on my show, Carly Miller. I have had many journalists, historians from Venezuela, not from, but who have visited Venezuela and investigated in Venezuela on my show. We have always been talking about Venezuela. So never was there a time in the coverage of Venezuela was there a mention that Maduro is apparently a drug lord. Maduro. You know who was a drug lord and was U.S. backed? The former president of Honduras, who is currently getting drug charges. Well, he's already in prison, from my understanding. And a mob guy by the name of Gene Barillo was one of his cellies. Former president of Honduras before Zamora Castro took power. He was pushed by Clinton, Hillary Clinton. He was a drug lord. You know who else was a drug lord that was funded by the United States? Hmm. I mean, let's think about who's the drug lord now in Peru. Yeah, dictator Dina. She's a drug lord. The president before AMLO, he's a drug lord. In Mexico, the president from before AMLO in Mexico, he was a drug lord. Let's talk about Colombia, how Colombia became a drug cartel country before the socialist president that's in office right now, who is battling the cartel, by the way. While Trump is saying, oh, they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. Shine Bomb, current president of Mexico, she's doing something about it. Current president of Colombia, he's doing something about it. They're not U.S. backed. Maduro's not U.S. backed. But apparently, Maduro's the biggest drug lord, from what I'm hearing, out of nowhere. This is brand new news to me. Like I said, this show has been covering Venezuela for a long time. We have had journalists on this show who have visited Venezuela and told you that that government is not corrupt. They told you, and they brought receipts. They brought information to show that their democracy is one of the most transparent. Jimmy Carter, former President Jimmy Carter, said with his chest, rest in peace, President Jimmy Carter, Venezuela has one of the most transparent elections in the world. Jimmy Carter confirmed that. You don't need some Western backed organization that's down with the CIA to tell you that. There are mad independent sources. Ben Norton, I haven't had him on the show yet. Hopefully, one day I could talk to that brother. Ben Norton confirmed this. Many independent journalists have confirmed that Venezuela has transparent elections and that Venezuela is a more less corrupt democracy than majority of US backed democracies around the world, if not the best out of all that. So all of a sudden Maduro's a drug lord. But there's something that's going on in Venezuela that's very, very interesting, that I would like to share. Thank you so much for the like. Please like, share, subscribe. That really, really does help. I really thank you guys so much since we've been doing these live streams, and why I've been doing these live streams because we've been having a really great, awesome audience. So please share this out to your people. We have a lot to talk about. As you can tell, because you saw my show notes in the details of the description, we have a lot to talk about, and we're going to try to hash this out in the next 40 minutes. We might be a little overlap, but that's absolutely fine. I would like to read my statement and to honor the Venezuelans. But first, I want to make sure that I show this video real quick, and then I'm gonna give a reaction to what is being talked about. Let's get this. Okay, there we go. Can we go full screen? Let's go full screen. So what are you are seeing? I apologize about the mute. I thought this video was going to give some context, but it's not. Venezuelans in droves. These are working class citizens. Now, remember when Ukraine was poised to be invaded, um, and they had a large amount of video of Ukrainians on the Kiev side, just to make sure we're precise about this. It wasn't all of Ukraine like the media wants to say it is. It was not all of Ukraine that has been debunked. Which, by the way, I have had journalists on as well too who has visited Ukraine. I have had people on, and I'm supposed to get somebody that was in the Ukrainian government as well too soon on the show as well. So we're going to have that conversation about Ukraine. This whole show is not going to be about Ukraine, but when Ukraine was about to be invaded by Russia, we saw videos of mothers, children, so many different types of people in the working class on the Kiev side of things joining the militia. When that video footage came out of them getting militia training and joining the militia, the liberals were so excited. It was like, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. Here we see an example of Venezuelans. And this is a large amount of Venezuelans, working class people, joining militias, joining Maduro to defend his country. And I don't see not one liberal celebrating this when they should, because Trump is literally talking about invading this country off of a lie that Maduro is a drug lord. Which has never been put on his record ever. They say a lot of things about this man, which is not true, but they have never called him a drug lord. This is racist. Racist as hell. And then they put a $20 million bounty on his freaking head, guys. Can you believe that? For what? Oh, because apparently he's a drug lord. That's all right. That's insane. So I wrote a little statement, and I want to read my little statement before I go anything further on Venezuela. And let me get my little photo out here that I got, because I want to show it's time to put them paws up. It's time to put those paws up. Where's my photo? There's a photo of Maduro that I want to show. Let me get the photo out, guys. Woo. Oh. Unfortunately, it looks like the photo's not there. That sucks. It didn't load. Whatever. That's totally fine. But like I said, this is a live stream, so of course there's going to be. Look, here we go. More photos. More photos of people lining up. I wanted to show the photo of Maduro with his dukes up. But I can't find that photo right now for some reason. But yeah, let me read my statement for you guys. Now this is for the Venezuelan people. All right. As a socialist, are people seeing me? Okay, there we go. As a socialist, it is my duty to speak out against imperialists, to be anti-war, and to be pro-working class power. The Western narrative and the American propaganda are cracking. I have had many people who visited Venezuela on my show, and I have shown support for the Venezuelan people throughout my political life. Just to recap, the U.S. backed Israel the U.S. backed Israel support on Iran's. The U.S. backed Israel depends on the support on Iranians who are anti Iran's government worldwide, yet their unprovoked attack on Iran did nothing but anger the majority of the anti government Iranians. This is going back to where they had a preemptive strike on Iran when Iran did nothing to them. There was no attack from Iran, and they decided to attack Iran. And the way that war, 12-day war went on, it got a little dicey, and a lot of anti government Iranians around the world started to get pissed off with Israel. This is what I think is going to happen here. It was a total embarrassment and also shown as a disregard to taking Iran's weapon capabilities seriously. No one believed the nuke excuse at all, but them hypersonic missiles made Israel think again. Here we are with Trump threatening to invade Venezuela. Do the most powerful Western leader really believe the Venezuelan people will be okay with their homes being bombed, destroyed over a lie about drugs? Understand this: the world is no longer excusing Westerners going wherever they want to invade and steal resources. Trump does not give a damn about the Venezuelan people. Venezuela is sitting on one of the largest, if not the largest, oil reserves in the world. I bet you will see some effective. I bet you will see the same effect. Them losing control of the narrative and being viewed as colonizers instead of liberators. Speaking of a liberator, one who has liberated many countries in Latin America against Spain, Simon Bolivar, the man who liberated Venezuela from Spain. Here's a quote from him: Do not compare yourself, do not compare your material forces with those of the enemy. Spirit cannot be compared with matter. You are human beings. They are beasts. You are free. They are slaves. And who is those slaves? Yes, I am calling the United States of America citizens. We are slaves to capitalism. We are slaves to empire. And empire wants nothing but to expand, just as they have been doing since World War II, since they defeated Hitler, and they realized that they can be the guys to control the world. That's why we have 900 bases around the world. This is why a third of the world is sanctioned, because a third of the world does not want to let America put a foot on their neck. The global South does not want to be told and dictated how to run their country no longer. This is why there's a BRICS nations. This is why there's a fight for economic, and also there's a fight for self-determination within these countries. Burkina Faso and the Sahel regions in Africa are leading this charge, and Venezuela and Cuba is leading this charge in Latin America, also Mexico. So I will not be pro invading another foreign power that has nothing to do at all with my oppression here in the United States as a black man. This is kind of a Muhammad Ali speech, but it's so fucking true. So fucking true. Speaking of black people being just straight up dehumanized, let us move to Haiti. Now, Haiti, for people that don't know, there has been a brand new update. You want to know what the update is? You know, after, decades of just people from all over the world, it's just ridiculous because now it's Kenya versus the UN, and the UN went in, and a lot of women were sexually assaulted, and a lot of mulattoes were born out of this. So many rape case that it's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous what happened. I had a percussionist who has roots in Cuba, a good brother by the name. Oh man, I can't even get his name. I'm gonna get your name for him. I'll get the name for him. But Marcus is his first name. He was a Grammy nominated percussionist, and I had the opportunity to play with this brother on stage once. And this brother told me everything I needed to know about Haiti that I did not know on that episode. Please check out that episode. You will learn so much about Haiti that you do not know. Did you know in 2004 they kidnapped a democratically elected Haitian president because they do not want Haiti to have a democracy? Haiti does not have a democracy now. Haiti's democracy was dismantled. It's controlled by the United States government. They put in whoever they want to put in. They kick out whoever they want to kick out. Hillary Clinton herself. There was leaked. And by the way, all this information is in the details. And if you're on YouTube, you could still access these articles. You just have to cut and paste the titles instead of going to the links because some reason the links are not working. But if you cut and paste the titles, you can see the information just as it is. There is no mistake. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna fix that for the next show so people will be able to see details. But Hillary Clinton herself went, and when she was Secretary of State, she went and told President Prevel at the time. I hope I'm saying this man's name right. Again, the notes is in the description. That if they don't do the U.S. bidding, she will kidnap him and put him on the plane. So not only did they kidnap somebody in 2004, it made a whole coup. They did the same thing during Hillary Clinton's time as Secretary of State. The U.S. does not want Haiti, the first free black nation in the Caribbean, to have a democracy. Colonizers do not forget. The French never forgot how embarrassed Napoleon was when Louverture defeated him and freed Haiti. Toussaint Louverture. And then later on, Jean-Jacques Dessalines continuing the revolution. This is a history that is rich, for black culture, that shows us that every time we fight, we can win. This is why Haiti can't stand. The colonizers can't let Haiti be a democratic country because it's a stain on them. The slaves defeated one of the greatest empires of the world. They can't let that slide. This is why they continue to extort Haiti with making sure they give in billions of dollars. This is why they continue to control Haiti's government. Haiti doesn't even have a parliament anymore. They don't even have sitting senators that they can go to and express their issues with. This is why they're always protesting, because their democracy was truly stripped. And then the only reason why their democracy isn't allowed is because they freed themselves. This is why Haiti must be punished, because they had the audacity to be the first to free themselves, and not only free themselves, but start a ripple effect of more slave rebellions throughout the Caribbean, all the way up to the point where there was a first black president in Mexico that started the Alamo. Texas was pissed. It was like, oh my God, y'all got a black president? We need to leave Mexico. He wants to abolish slavery. That's what the Alamo was all about, slavery. Haiti inspired all of that. And this is why Haiti must suffer, because Haiti destroyed the slave trade. Destroyed it. And this was about 60 years before the Civil War even happened in the United States. 1804, people. Look it up. And if you are a black person watching this, be proud of that history. Be proud that they are pissed at the Haitians, because the Haitians did what was right, and the Haitians liberated themselves and showed every black man in the not just black people, every black person in diaspora, that we can free ourselves and we can take care of ourselves and we can defend ourselves and we can have our own economic growth, our own self-determination. Look at Burkina Faso. Look at the Sahel region. Capitalism doesn't want that. Capitalism does not want Africa to have self-determination and economic growth. Capitalism wants Africa to give up their resources and to remain poor. And that shit pisses me off. Straight up. Straight up. What's next on my agenda? Um, yeah, man. Haiti, they have this guy named Barbecue, and they're saying there's Haitian gangs. These are paramilitary groups. Barbecue is now wanted, but Barbecue is just doing exactly what he wants to do because no government, the government was funding these paramilitary groups. They want to keep this thing in chaos. This is what America wants. And now people are realizing what's going on and they're getting upset. So they the fall guy. And Barbecue, who is not even the most ruthless out of all of them, there's a man named Pierre, who is also what they call a gang member that is very ruthless. They don't mention him. I wonder why. Maybe because he's CIA connected. Maybe. And Barbecue pissed them off. So now they're like, oh, you know what, Barbecue? We're going to make an example out of you. The Haitian people have been fighting these gangs and trying to keep their people safe. I have had Danny on as well, too, who is very, very connected. I would love to have that brother back on the show. But this is what is going on. This is the real of what's happening in Haiti. They're going to tell you something else. They're going to tell you that Haiti can never get their shit together. Haiti can't get their shit together because the U.S. will not allow it. That is the sole reason why Haiti cannot get it together. They always find ways to keep them in chaos 24/7. Chaos. If you don't believe me, I don't know what to tell you at this point. Don't know what to tell you, but the information is in the description. It's a lot of information, a lot. That's why I said last time when I was planning on doing this live stream, I didn't feel like my research was all the way up to par. So I wanted to make sure my research was up to par. And you have the research, and then you have ways to look for more. Please, this is an issue that is swept under the rug because we are seen as savages. We are seen as not democratic people when we are. We can have a democracy. We can thrive. We did it for thousands of years before the white man came to Africa. Thousands of years. We had a system. We had lives. We had doctors. We had freaking mathematicians. Dude, colleges started in Northern Africa. Colleges in the Middle East. Colleges. The Moors controlled Spain and Portugal for about 800 years. They taught them surgical things with the medical field. There was no surgery going on before the Moors. We are intelligent people, and they try to make you seem that you are not. And this is me hotepping because I'm really pissed off of how much they try to belittle our people. I'm talking to black people right now. I'm really pissed off at how they try to belittle us and make us seem that we are inferior and we cannot build, we cannot create, we cannot develop. How many inventions in the United States were made by slaves? And they couldn't control the patent. The patent was given by the slave master. And when slavery ended, we had all these tools, but the unions shut us out because we were competition. The white man didn't want us in those unions, so the white man lynched us to prevent us from being able to be hard working class citizens in society. They created prisons because they couldn't do slavery no more. I could go on about this all day, but I have a schedule. Long live Haiti. Long live Sudan. Free the Congo. Free Sudan. Free Haiti. Long live Burkina Faso. Long live Niger. Let's go on to the next. Sometimes I just get emotional with this shit because it just really bothers me on how much they have made so many people sheep and don't let them see the true history. Because if they knew the true history, they'll be a lot damn more prouder of who they are. They don't want that. The working class can be great, but they don't want that. So let's show. Let's move on to our. Let's see where we at. I want to make sure I am on pace. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we are on pace. We are up to Ukraine. Now before we get into the whole ceasefire and everything conversation, which Georgia Maloney, her fascist ass, she gave the perfect reaction on how I feel about this whole thing. It's so dragged on, and how humiliating it was for these European leaders to be sitting. They got a whole photo of them, like they're waiting for their principal to like come out and scold them. like, like they looked like captured people. Trump's, Trump's this motherfucker got them sitting there, just like, yeah, you go wait patiently. You go wait until I'm ready to talk to you. It's insane how captured Europe is. They allowed them to strip them of their resources and then force them three times the price to pay. Oh my God, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's very, very embarrassing on how Europe is right now. Um, let's see, what video do I want to share first? What bullshit I want to go in? Let's give Putin's response, and I kind of disagree with him on this as well too. And I hope that he's not. My thing with Russia, I agree with the Russian working class that talks about how if we're going to end this war, which is what Putin has been mentioning, but I don't know how trusting he is of Trump, then there has to be no concessions where there's a ceasefire like the last two Minsk one and Minsk two. They're supposed to be a peace deal, but they were just ramping up the fight. And this is what Russians want. They want to make sure that if this war ends, that they don't have to worry about another Ukrainian regime starting a whole civil war, because that's what happened under Petro Poroshenko when he was given the keys because he wasn't voted in. He tried to run for election and Zelensky defeated him. Let's go into this video right here. So this is.
Что касается наших отношений с Соединенными Штатами, то они находятся на крайне низком уровне после Второй мировой войны. Я уже много раз об этом говорил. Ну вот с приходом президента.
There's subtitles, and the subtitles are a little smaller than I thought they would be. So let me make the screen a little larger for you guys so you guys can actually read the subtitles. There we go. That looks perfect.
Что касается наших отношений с Соединенными Штатами, то они находятся на крайне низком уровне после Второй мировой войны. Я уже много раз об этом говорил. Ну вот с приходом президента Трампа, я думаю, что такой свет в конце туннеля он все-таки замаячил. И вот сейчас у нас была очень хорошая, содержательная и откровенная встреча на Аляске. Контакты продолжаются на уровне наших министерств, ведомств, компаний. Я очень рассчитываю на то, что вот первые шаги, которые были сделаны, они это только начало к полномасштабному восстановлению наших отношений. Мы обсуждаем, кстати говоря, вот и с американскими партнерами возможность вместе работать в этой сфере. Причем не только в нашей арктической зоне, но и на Аляске. И при этом технологии, которыми мы обладаем, сегодня не обладает никто, кроме нас. И это представляет интерес для наших партнеров, в том числе и из Штатов.
I mean, this is my thing. This is my thing. This is my issue. This is why I'm like, why is he so trusting? Because I feel like he has some trust. Because the media is saying, oh, Russia doesn't trust America, and I was kind to believe that. The summit, he said, it's a light at the end of the tunnel and all this stuff. You know what I mean? What was the Whole point of the summit, guys. It was a waste of time to me, honestly. Honestly, this man wants to make money. Putin is a capitalist. Putin wants to stop the war. We all know that. He said it. If they denazify, they dematerialize. Um, he said that. He said that he wants to stop the war. But it seems to me his main focus is getting some bread in America. That seems like his main focus to me. The war, he's like, oh, look, y'all want to keep going with Zelensky and all that? Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm trying to build the Russian economy to the strongest it ever can be. And you're not going to stop me. I'm going to take advantage of Trump being in office. I'm going to do it. Why do you think there has been so? This is what I'm saying. Like, everybody's like, oh, they're talking. They're talking. Like, I need you to understand. They're not talking all the time about ending this war. These are business deals getting played. These are business deals going into place 24/7. They are trying to reestablish a relationship. And this is why I get annoyed when people try to say Russia is a part of U.S. this anti-U.S. imperialism. Russia is pro-Western. They are. The government of Russia right now is pro-Western. Russia wants to make that money in the West. Russia was making that money in the West. Russia wants to get back to making that money in the West. I wouldn't see this country as a defense against imperialism. This is why I'm playing this clip. I don't see Vladimir Putin's regime as a defense against imperialism. Oh, yes, they are friendly with a lot of anti-imperialist countries. Yes, they have great work. BRICS is doing amazing. I would definitely trust China over Russia. I would definitely trust North Korea over Russia. I would definitely trust Burkina Faso. I would definitely, but not Lula. Go get to that motherfucker. I got a whole episode for that son of a bitch. But anyway, Russia has their own self-interest. They want to be left alone. They don't want NATO expanding, which I agree with. There's no reason for NATO to be expanding. The whole purpose of NATO was to destroy the USSR. They won. Why is NATO still around? Starting to shoot with Russia. Because these people, they feel like they were conquerors. We made the end of history. Russia could never ever be the same again. And they see Russia as a threat. They see China more as a bigger threat right now. But Russia is one of their threats that they need to get rid of. This is why Putin needs to understand that it's not getting in his head to me that you can't build relations with America. You can't trust us. You should stop trying to be with us. Stop, Putin. I know you don't care. This is a little show. I only get like 100 something views on live streams like this. Sometimes 200. Thank you for that. But somebody, if you know them, tell them. You should just worry about making sure this war ends in a way where we don't go to World War III. Let's get that out. Let's finish this so we don't go to World War III. And stop trying to be friendly. Stop sending Russian diplomats over here. Unless y'all talking about peace deals. Stop it. That's my issue with Putin right now. Some people might disagree. Let me know in the comment section. I know we got some really well-informed people watching as well too. And shouts out. Yeah. Shouts out. Thank you so much for the comment. Good evening, brother. And everybody in that group chat as well too. Some really good fighters. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right, I got another video. Let's talk about the boy who wants to be king. Not Trump. We're not talking about Trump. Some of the other one. The one that wants to be king so bad that he might get replaced by Zelensky. The reason why I say he wants to be king is because he's supposed to have an election, and of course, martial law, all this stuff. Russia doesn't recognize Zelensky as president. That's another thing that people gotta understand about that. That's why this whole thing about, oh, maybe they should sit down and talk. First of all, Russia got to recognize that him as being a leader for them to actually have a conversation. Let's just get that up in the open. But Trump comes out, get the video up. Trump comes out and he was asked about a possible. Let's see the video coming up. Yeah, it's coming up. I gotta pause it real quick. Hold on, guys. Trump comes out and he was asked about a possible talk between Zelensky and Putin in the next meeting. So apparently this is going on. This might, maybe, don't know. I don't think Russia will bring Putin in front of Zelensky. I really don't. But let's let it play. Let's see.
President Zelensky, Russia as of now says there's no meeting on the books and
I'm gonna redo it because there was a glitch. StreamYard, you gotta fix your glitches. All right. Let's bring it back. Actually, yeah, but here we go.
say that he wanted to sit down with Ukrainian President Zelensky. Russia as of now says there's no meeting on the books and no agenda is set.
Well, that's going to be up to them. It takes two to tango. I always say it. And they should meet, I think, before I have a meeting and probably close the deal. But I think it's appropriate they meet. They do not exactly get along well, as you can understand. And I'm sure it's a meeting that perhaps he didn't like. But he wasn't happy about coming to the United States either. That was a big concession, and I appreciate the fact that he did. You know, I've always had a very good relationship, despite a fake Russia haunt that we had. But we've always had a great relationship, very good relationship, strong relationship with Russia. That's a good thing, not a bad thing, by the way. That's a very good thing. And it's good to get along with Kim Jong-un, and it's good to get along with everybody, including President Lee. It's good to get along, and I get along with the foreign leaders. You see that with the biggest group of foreign leaders that we've ever had. Don't forget the European Union was here also.
He said President Lee. Did he mean Xi Jinping? I think that's what he meant. What is it with this guy not remembering leaders' names? It's like, yo, you the president. Like he did that to was it the president of Eritrea? It was an African leader, and their language is English. They speak very good English, and he's like, you speak very good English. This man, bro, he just talks and doesn't fucking think. But anyway, let's just finish this.
Representing a large group of countries just recently. So I believe that we're going to get that war straightened out. We're going to get it done. I don't know that they'll meet. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. They'd like me to be at the meeting. I said, you guys ought to work it out. It's between you. It's not us. Now, in the meantime, we're not spending any money on, as you know, on Ukraine. We're selling military equipment to.
That's a lie. They're still funding Ukraine.
NATO now is taking in, excuse me, NATO now is taking in a large amount of money from the countries. They're taking in 5% of GDP versus 2%. They're paying the 5%. They never paid the 2%, most of them, or a lot of them. NATO has a lot of money. We are selling military equipment to NATO at full price.
And that's something that JD Vance mentioned, that they don't want to give Ukraine weapons. And listen, people gotta remember though, like they're still funding Ukraine in many shapes or forms. They are funded. Look, their fire departments, everything. There was this economist that was saying that Ukraine can't survive without our funding at all. They will totally collapse, be done, decimated, and Europe can't afford it. Europe can afford it. This whole idea with them saying, "Oh, they're just going to buy weapons off us," stuff like that. Okay. We'll see if that's true. That's what the deal's going to be. We'll see how far that goes, how long it goes. I'll look into it. I got you. But this whole thing, when he was saying I can end the war in 24 hours and all this nonsense, just being full of shit. I don't think he fully gets the full understanding of why this whole conflict happened and why this conflict could have been avoided from the beginning. Could have been avoided from the beginning. You tell the Pentagon to back off. You tell NATO to back off. NATO already got their own disputes. Majority of NATO leaders, they don't even like each other. They beefing about whether the war should go on or whether the war should stop. Why do you think Georgia Maloney was there with her little, like, she's like, why am I here wasting my time? She don't even want the war to continue on. She don't want no part of this shit. It's this Russophobic nonsense where they still believe that there's some type of communist threat, even though there's no communism that I've last checked in Russia. Yes, there's a few regions that still want to keep the same laws with the pensions and all that stuff like that, but Putin's not a communist. Putin doesn't want to expand the USSR or recreate the USSR. Putin doesn't want to expand territory. Putin doesn't want to do no Hitler shit and try to take over all Europe. Putin just wants Ukraine to fall the fuck back and not join NATO. That's all he wants. It's literally that simple. And when a man got to repeat himself 24/7 and motherfuckers still don't listen, they get irritated. I get irritated when I got to repeat myself as well too. Trump just don't know. I think he's aloof to everything, and he wants to show strong strength, wants to continue to act like that he knows what he's talking about when he doesn't. This man goes to DC talking about, oh, it's so horrible. It's so horrible. So much crime. People can't even walk down the street. That's the fuck they can. I've been to DC multiple times. I haven't had an issue at all. Never in DC. Ever. So I don't understand what he's seeing. Yes, there's crime, but it's not on the high level where you got to bring the National Guard and Marines. This man is aloof. I call him now the final form of Karenism. Trump is the final form of Karenism. Should have heard him this morning talking about, well, the American flags. Well, that's not how he said. The American flags, when they get burned, it becomes a problem, huge problem. Riot starts, all this now. Riots start when the American flag starts burning. I mean, I did see a riot at January 6th when your homeboys was burning the American flag, but we don't talk about that. We don't discuss. Not true. This dude just comes up with anything out of his fucking mind to justify his fascist ass tendencies. Now he wants to send National Guard to Chicago, to Baltimore. Thank God he ain't mentioned New Haven, but you know we on the list because majority of people here in New Haven is Black and Latino. There's white European gangs, folks, doing wild shit in the United States. I don't hear anything about that. Don't hear about them getting deported either. This man's a racist, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. They got the dumbest motherfucker in office because all he's going to do is give the rich the biggest money. The Democrats is not going to do much to stop him. They're going to make little speeches like they did on the Breakfast Club and still be complicit with his fascist policies. And then they're going to continue on those policies like Biden did. They're not going to get rid of them. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, we'll use the police state method as well, too. So y'all act like ICE wasn't deporting niggas when Obama was president or when Biden was president. Y'all act like ICE just only be active when it's Republican in office. Stop that shit. That rant made me forget my whole train of thought. But yeah, he's not serious about ending this war, dude. He wants to make money, and he told his voters that he's going to end the war. They don't care. They don't care about those Ukrainians, man. Then when Americans start to die, that's probably when they're going to start to care. Mark my words. So, like, the question on, is this a Minsk 3? Putin's not that stupid. There's a saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me a third time, Putin's not going to let that third time happen because the Russians will be livid. He has to answer to them. and they apply pressure on him very, very much. As much as the United States like to act like that he has power, he doesn't have that much power that y'all think he does. Yes, he is the president. Yes, he does dictate laws. Yes, he knows the law because he's a lawyer. But he has to answer. He has to answer. And if he doesn't answer correctly, Russia will be livid. They will kick him out of office. Believe my words. They're not joking. You got one dude, the former president of Russia, Medvedev, I believe his name is. This dude, worse than Putin when it comes to Ukraine. Y'all act like Putin doing the worst. He said he wants to take Kiev. He would have been to Kiev. That's what he said. Straight up. So you liberals better be happy he not president. Because there's a lot of people in Russia that are just like, this needs to be wrapped up and put a bow on it and send it off. That's what they want. They don't want no, oh, we want a ceasefire, like the NATO was saying, and no, they don't want no damn ceasefire. They don't want no damn ceasefire. I don't know why the hell y'all keep talking about that. They don't want no damn ceasefire. Sorry. Let's finish the rest of this video, by the way, and then I'm gonna play something else. We're gonna call it a day.
And NATO's distributing that equipment to wherever they are. I mean, perhaps to Ukraine. So NATO's working with Ukraine. Biden was giving hundreds of billions of dollars, just willy-nilly, just giving money. He had no idea where it was going. It was terrible what was happening. So we're not involved anymore in terms of the cost. We're in for 300.
Y'all got to stop letting him get on Biden like that as well, too, because he funded Ukraine his first term just as much he's funding Ukraine his second term. I can't wait to see the numbers. That's the pot calling the kettle black right there. You going to be giving Ukraine the same amount of shit that Biden is. Stop lying to your people, bro. Like, he really is lying to y'all. I want y'all to know. Y'all need to look at how much money we be giving Ukraine. And if Congress, here's the thing about Ukraine. Yes, they don't get as much money as Israel. We all know Israel's the poster child. Israel's the wife. Israel gets the wife treatment with America. Israel's the actual like baby. They love Israel. But Ukraine's getting bread. Ukraine is still getting bread. And when he tell you that he cutting them off, maybe he'll stop the weapons. Yes. They can't everything else. What you mean? There's pensions to be paid, bro. Fire departments, hospitals, a whole lot of things just to run the country. We're giving them money for it. Just like we're paying dictator Dina up in Peru. We're paying for her officers. We're paying for her soldiers so they could go and shoot indigenous people and steal the resources. We pay for that. We'll tell you that we're not paying for it, but they're still paying for it. He's lying. He's still paying. He's giving mad bread to Ukraine. And if he's not doing it, the Pentagon would do it. And the Pentagon does not need Congress. They don't need Congress at all. They'll just send the check.
$150 billion. As you know, I also got the rare earth deal done with Ukraine, which was worth much more than the $350 billion. But I'm not interested in the money so much, even though we've done a great job in that regard. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in stopping a war where last week 7,109 soldiers died, both Russian and Ukraine. It's such a waste of life and humanity. They're not from this country. They're not from any other country other than Ukraine, for the most part.
I hope people still don't
Ukraine
believe
and
him.
Russia. But it's a very important thing to me to stop it. I stopped 7 wars that were raging, one for 31 years, the Congo, and as you know, Rwanda. One for
that's still going on.
35 years. I don't have to go into them. You
There's
know the list better than
but
I
they're
do.
back to it.
But we stopped a lot of wars, including, you think about it, India and Pakistan, which was probably 2 weeks away from being a nuclear war. They were shooting down airplanes all over the place. So I'm very proud of that. I thought this would be, in many ways, the easiest way. I have a very good relationship with Putin. I thought it would be the easiest one to stop, and it's really not. It's very complex. It's very personal from their standpoint. There's tremendous dislike personally between the two men.
Take this off. Take this shit off. Yo, he's full of it. He is so freaking full of it, bro. I can't. Y'all believe him? He said that he helped broker the deal with India and Pakistan, bro. India and Pakistan said that's not true. Did he miss that part where they literally called him out? He must not heard. But don't forget, guys, free Palestine. I'm gonna end it right here, guys. I'm gonna tell you that we got the whole pack.
Get the fuck up! Blank period, yeah. On my black, brown, and indigenous. Gotta holler if you really feeling this. Gotta holler if you really real enough. Other rappers is delirious. Yeah, it's really that serious. Better holler if you really feeling me. I gotta keep it 100, ayy. If you don't like it, then fuck it, ayy. We gonna win in the end, yeah, we gonna live in abundance. I gotta keep it 100, ayy. If you don't like it, then fuck it, ayy. We gonna win in the end, yeah, we gonna. I gotta keep it 100. We gotta stop all the stunting. You know we coming from nothing. Yo, you talking about money, you bluffing. We gotta do something different. We gotta change how we live in. We gotta do better for women. We gotta do better for children. We gotta listen to victims, whether Jewish or Muslim or Christian. It doesn't matter your religion. You gotta stand against the system, or else you just another villain. How you just sitting there chilling?